Welcome to Outside the House, the unofficial Big Brother After Show. It's been a productive week in the Big Brother house with alliances forming basically on top of each other. You'd almost think we were in BB21. The outgoing HOH Memphis has sent one of his nominees packing, but does that mean he's next on the chopping block? We'll find out soon enough. Plus, BB20's Kaitlyn Herman joins us outside the house. But first, let's eavesdrop on the team. First up is my co-host, Rachel Swindler.
Woo! Hey, everybody. So happy to be here.
Rachel has a lot to say tonight. So
yeah,
you're repping your Danny Dominic.
Yep, HOH and nom and veto and vote and evict and repeat, courtesy of the Donatos.
That is so cool. And it's her birthday.
And it's her birthday. So in honor of Danny's birthday.
And say hello to our producer, Mark Herman.
Hello. I am not
Hi, Mark.
Rocking a cool Big Brother related shirt, just a 2000s computer game shirt. Okay, though.
But Mark, you did get a mic stand. So
I did.
Have to hold it like a cane.
Yeah. Well, it was pretty cool. It's like a walking stick, just really expensive. It sounded good, though.
Yeah.
It was great.
That's good. All right. Well, before we get to our amazing guest this week, I just want to notify everybody watching that we are now on Spotify and Apple Podcasts. So if you'd rather avoid seeing our faces altogether, please check out the podcast version of our show. Podcast, not podcast. It's super easy. Just open Spotify and or Apple Podcasts and search Outside the House. Again, that's Outside the House. Then hit that subscribe button as well as rate and review us. And also be sure to subscribe to our YouTube channel, which you are on right now. And make sure to follow us on socials. They're all slightly different, so I'm sorry that I couldn't get them all the same. So I'd like to apologize in advance. But it's at From Outside the House on Instagram and at Outside BB House on Twitter. Once again, that's at From Outside the House on Instagram and at Outside BB House on Twitter. All right, without further ado, I think it's safe to say we've definitely manifested our guest tonight. She is a certified life coach and the host of a brand new Big Brother recap show called Spoiler Alert, exclusively on TV Co. Not to mention, she's also the co-host of the Quarter Life Crisis podcast, but you might know her best as Big Brother 20's Puzzle Master. Please welcome Kaitlyn Herman.
Really?
That was such a great intro.
Wait, I told you it was ass kissy.
First of all, the intro was going so well up until the end with that just like hint of sarcasm. But thank you so much for having me. I know I'm, related to the producer of the show, so I felt like it was mandatory for you to have me, and it was my best friend. So
and you're
far reach.
You're our first guest, so thank you so much for being here. And so can we get to the most important order of business? Are you two related?
We are. In my family tree,
each other.
Well, as family does. In our family tree, it says we're 12th cousins, thrice removed, and like I said, we see each other at the Herman Family Fest every other leap year.
Every other leap year, the Herman Family Fest.
Yeah.
I mean, honestly,
it's a long time.
Would not be surprising if we were related. I'm sure somewhere in the lineage there's a relation.
Potentially, we can manifest it.
I'm down.
Yeah, just manifest it. Okay, I know, Kaitlyn, you're here to talk about Big Brother, but I have to say, I love your podcast, Quarter Life Crisis. You host it with our friend and Big Brother OTT winner Morgan Willett and Amanda Kozmer-Perrin.
Yeah.
Right? Okay, great. And each of you guys has like a specialty, right? I just have to say that I steal so many ideas from your Instagram.
Really?
Because I have a podcast called The Nobodies, and I steal stuff constantly. I really like your Mantra Mondays, Workout Wednesdays, and Food Fridays because you all have a specialty, right?
Yeah. It's really helpful to have three girls that are in like the health and wellness industry. So I do life coaching. Amanda's a registered dietitian, and Morgan is into the fitness. So it's all like a really nice complement to each other. Although it is sometimes difficult to stay on topic with wellness when we have this shit happening in the world.
That's true.
TV and like all this other stuff. But we have to remember to stay on track because Amanda is just a regular human being that was not on a reality show. So half the time we talk about this shit, she's like, I don't know what you're talking about. So we really need to like settle down. I appreciate you like it.
Well, I really like it. Okay, I want to talk more about that, but before we get to the eviction, no spoilers yet, just guys, right now. Do you think it was smart for the outgoing HOH Memphis to go after relatively non-threats like Nicole A. and David in the first place? What do you guys think about his decision to go after them? Kaitlyn, Rachel.
I mean, I think that his decision was weak, but I think he was trying to play it safe this week, but he didn't really play it safe because I feel like he burned bridges with his own alliance. So in a sense, you could think that it made sense because he was putting up two people that were not really connected to anybody else. But then at the end of the day, he burned bridges with his own alliance. So he didn't play out the week well. They were fairly good noms, but he didn't play the week out well.
Rachel, I have a question for you. Do you think that, because I agreed with that up until I just kind of realized that, like, I remember that the weeks go so fast and then people just fucking forget. Sorry, am I allowed to curse on this show?
Sure. I mean, maybe avoid it. I don't know.
I'll just be an adult. It's okay. I don't have to. So, like, I was thinking that too, Rach, but then I started to think, like, everyone seemed a little annoyed at Memphis. Like, Tyler and I mean, everyone seemed annoyed. But at the end of the day, now that there's a new HOH, and I won't say who, do you really think that that is going to carry over? Because I just don't know that it will.
You mean like them being mad at Memphis?
Yeah.
Well, Tyler has said specifically he wants to target Memphis. I mean, they all at some point basically were like, we're going to do an alliance without Memphis. But will it carry over? I mean, that's to be determined depending on who the HOH is, which I have no idea who the HOH is right now.
What things in this program are we allowed to discuss?
Well, no, we're going to get to the spoilers. We're going to get to everything. I just want to right off the bat. I just wanted to give people who maybe haven't seen our show know that we're going to tell them when we spoil them instead of just like going right out. Right. But we can go into that too. I just was kind of curious as to like what you guys thought of, because I mean, I felt like it was not cool of Memphis to nominate David and then belittle him and then make him a have-not and then follow that by saying, have fun. And I wanted to get your take because Tyler, you know, you guys played with Tyler. He was very vocal about this sort of alpha way of playing Big Brother and how it's outdated. So I wanted to know, do you guys think that's true, or is Memphis just playing the way that he would play?
I got to be honest with you, and I know this is controversial, but I'm saying it and I'm sticking to it. I do not stand by Memphis's delivery this week with David. I think he was totally belittling him when he put him on the block and made him a have-not. That being said, I don't blame him for putting David on the block. It's literally the easiest person to put on the block. He's not, no offense, guys, but in my opinion, David's not an all-star. And again, this is a friend of mine. Like, I love David very much, but I'm not going to sit here and tiptoe around the fact that, like, I did not think that it was that crazy when Memphis is like, welcome to the big kids table. Because to be honest, yeah, sure, it was belittling and it was fucking rude, but that's it. It's like, welcome to the game, kid. Like, you haven't played before. Like, welcome to the game. And to be honest, I think that he's also saying stuff like that based around what David's been saying in the house, which is that he barely has studied the game. He doesn't know anything about it. He didn't practice when he knew he was coming on All Stars. And I saw Memphis saying that. I was like, welcome. Like, this is how you play Big Brother. Like, and I just didn't find it that crazy.
Yeah.
Mark, what do you think?
I don't know. I mean, I think Memphis, it definitely went to his head and it showed. Like, it's okay to let power get to your head a little bit, but to be so transparent about it and just kind of blow things up around you, I don't know. I've never really been, well, I can't say I've never been on Big Brother because I mean, technically, I was on Big Brother 20 with Rachel and Kaitlyn. I don't know if you both of you actually know that. Just let me just show you real quick.
Oh,
yeah. Right there. Wait.
I wish you had like a pointer.
So I just want you guys to know, like, you.
Oh my!
So Bryce,
I knew. Wait, hold on a second.
Totally
I knew I recognized you.
Yeah.
I knew it.
Yeah.
Oh my! Well, first of all, I was out of the house at that point, but I totally recognized you from the episode.
Yeah. Thank you. Yeah.
It was Bailey's eviction, wasn't it, Mark?
It was.
Okay.
Oh, okay. Yeah. Then I remember you from when I watched it.
A stipend? Like, how did that work?
I'm actually under an NDA right now still, so I
Okay.
can't really talk about it, but you understand, I'm sure.
All right, let's get
Sorry
to
to derail the show. Yeah.
Speaking of, but speaking of eviction, let's get to what happened tonight. We saw Nicole God, so dumb. Nicole Anthony.
I want to know what you guys thought about David. I can't be the only one that.
I'm sorry.
Oh, yeah.
I need to hear what everyone else thinks.
Listen.
What about David? Do I think that
Yeah.
David is playing horribly? I mean, again, we mean nothing malice or mean by this. I will fix my camera next week because this looks all blurred from my end. But anyways, no malice, no mean from this. But everything I saw in the live feeds this week, everything I was reading on Twitter, nothing was making sense. His gameplay, he virtually has no gameplay. He doesn't. The conversations that I see him in, he seems awkward, as if he doesn't even know how to have conversations to get him further in the game. And even okay, sorry, spoiler a little bit. Even tonight in the HOH competition,
no, it's not a big deal.
Even tonight in the HOH competition, he was turned the wrong way, and then at the end he didn't press his buzzer. Emotions run high, all that stuff. And I was just like, what? This is the HOH competition. Like, you got to be like, boom, 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 cat. You know what I'm saying? Like, so that frustrated me so much when I was watching that, because I was like, did you listen to the instructions before?
Like, he probably made those instructions so clear, Rachel, and you know that they fucking heard those. Sorry, Christiane. You know that they heard those instructions over and over again. Like, could not. He's made those instructions so clear. And for Dave, okay. Quick question also, let's sidebar about the HOH competition, because I was sitting here with my boyfriend and we were so confused as to why everyone, when they pushed the thing, stopped to watch. Why?
Yes, I was.
What the hell?
Move, boom, boom. Yes, I hear you.
After you push it, it's going to go no matter what.
Yeah.
If you stand there and look at it, it's not going to change.
Well, what if they have telekinesis and they're trying to stop it? Like, they have to focus in on it?
Ain't nobody got no telekinesis up there.
I know.
What I would have done, I went push, go to the next one, look at it, see what I got, push, go to the next one, look, see what I got, push, to see how much, what's the word?
I get the first one. I get after the first time, because you don't know maybe how, like, the force of what you're doing. Like, if you need to figure out what the centrifugal force is or whatever. But after the second one, you should be going and done. I agree with you. I think, and with the HOH competition, let's just start talking there. So we saw Tyler win HOH this week. And so I want to know, you guys have both played with Tyler now, and I want to know what you think is going on in his head in terms of what he's going to do and how he's going to field this week. Is it going to be super easy again? Or what do you think is going to happen? He's going to try to make a big move?
No, I don't think he's going to. I think the move right now, unfortunately, is Janelle and Kaiser. Although he has spoken about getting revenge on Memphis. That's not his style from what we see. I think he's going to go in the house. But who knows with obviously Janelle and Kaiser can't do the safety sweep, but like with Vito's, I don't know what his move is, but what I do know is that he is usually there to win, to play and to win, and he doesn't really throw comps. So although he might not love the timing of this win, I'm sure he's still like thrilled about it. Am I thrilled about it on a personal level? Probably not.
Well, okay, so better question. Well, Rachel, go ahead. But I want to ask you also, what is the move that he should be making?
So I believe he's going to do, of course, Janelle and Kaiser, because they're the two enemies of the house. It's easy to just boom, boom, get a boom, boom cat, get them on out. I think that if one of them wins the veto, he's definitely going to put up Memphis. I can even go as far, maybe what I think he should do is maybe put up Janelle and Kaiser, strike a deal with them so that he's safe for possibly the next week, keep them around, and then backdoor Memphis. But then his alliance could be in trouble with that. So I don't know. But I think Janelle and Kaiser are definitely in trouble.
Rachel, you're really very smart. Has anyone ever?
Thank you. I know. Besides that, appreciate that.
Oh, can I just say one thing too about Memph?
Memph, yeah.
Like, it's not really about Memph.
Are we on a half first name basis now?
Yeah, we're just on an abbreviated little moment. But actually, it's not about Memphis. It's about Nicole A. And what I will say is that I really liked her dig during her, speech, her last kind of talk where she goes, nice job, Memphis, getting me out of the house. You're so strong. I thought that was so cute.
That was good. What do you think? What did you think about Nicole's gameplay in general? What did you guys?
It was emotional.
Where did she go wrong?
Where did she go wrong? I mean, from what it's clear that Nicole has a lot of emotional baggage left over from her season. It's clear that she's battling something that probably me and Kaitlyn know too well. So, I feel for her.
Just because I do want to touch on this, I really I want to let's just go into this because Nicole had a rough couple of the last few days in the house, and I want to start by somebody saying, or I want to start with you, your tweet after last Sunday's episode. You said, "Let me make myself clear. Anxiety is something very real inside and outside of that house. When Nicole A comes out, do not attack her. She is struggling a lot." And then BB15's Amanda Zuckerman echoed your sentiments yesterday by saying, "It took me about 2 years to get out of the Big Brother bubble, feeling like a celeb, posting dumb stuff, letting the internet control my feelings. There's some steps you need to take to get back to your mental health. Some people who play BB never leave the bubble." So since you guys have both lived in the house and probably in this bubble, can you shed some light on this Big Brother bubble for us, for everybody?
Yeah, I mean, Kaitlyn, do you want to take it first?
Sure. Yeah, I mean, Rachel's extremely right. It's one of those things that no one can prepare you for, and it sounds so strange. And I think a lot of people on Twitter or social media in general think that it's very easy to pass judgment on the people that are playing the game because we have all the information sitting at home on the couch. We have all the information, but you don't really understand what it's like to be in that space, and it's very consuming. And when you leave, it's like this sensory overload of people and comments and likes and opinions that don't really matter. And it becomes, if you're not careful, it can become very anxiety producing and depressing. And I'm happy that Nicole has such a strong family unit and she has her podcast, and she'll be okay. And I think she'll bounce back. But I genuinely feel like it was maybe a little too soon for her to go back on the show. I find that the most relief comes from when you're able to experience watching another season after yours. At least it did for me. And she didn't get that opportunity. So do I think that she could have been a little bit different had she had more time to study after becoming a player? Sure. But these are the cards that she was dealt this time. Also, Rachel, I'm curious as to, after you tell us your take on what you've experienced. I was talking about this the other day with a few people, and I want to know what you feel. I genuinely don't believe there's such thing as a good Big Brother player at all. I literally think it's based around who you're put in the house with. Because Rachel, if we threw you in with 19 people, you would have won. It's really, so I don't really like when people say this person's the greatest of all time. Tyler killed it, this, that, and the next. It's you're really a product of who you're surrounded by in that house and the situations that happen. I think that everyone adapts, but Rachel, you take that away.
Yeah, I mean, we're seeing that right now with Nicole Anthony, who made top 3 and America's Favorite Player, who now is coming out of the house with a lot of hate because of the whole Janelle situation and coming out second. So how crazy that, she goes from that to that. It just shows you that it really is about your circumstances. I think it does. I mean, I do think that somebody that studies, somebody who watches the game a lot, and somebody who goes in prepared will do better than somebody that doesn't. There is advantages to that, but there's also disadvantages, as in myself. I got too worked up my week and got in my head, and then there I was out, so there's disadvantages and advantages on both sides, I feel. But yes, the Big Brother bubble is something that is unexplainable. It's just especially pre-jury.
hated our lives. Like, to be honest, like, it was one of those things where Rachel and Winston, and I think to this day, like, I don't know a stronger group of friends that were made pre-jury. Like, those, and they will forever be my people, because it's something so incredibly challenging when you not only are leaving that house, but now you have to leave that house and you don't get to experience it with your jury members, and like you've all left at the same time and you're like, oh my God, we're all getting our phones back. Like, no, this is like week after week pre-jury of like, I just got out. Where's Winston? He got out the week before me. I don't even have his number. Like, how do I get in contact with Winston? Then Rachel gets out. Me trying to get in contact with Rachel. Like, it's going to be okay. I promise I've been out for a week. Like, sure, I'm in a dark depression, but like, you're going to be okay. It's like, we were so, like, we just relied on each other. And like, that's why I think that people in pre-jury, like me, Rachel, and Winston, will always be so much closer and more connected than anyone else in the jury, because they don't get how difficult that is.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Well, I think oh, go ahead, Rachel. Sorry.
No, go ahead.
I was just going to say that, on the flip side of that, I mean, I think that's very insightful on both of you parts. And I thank you for sharing that with us, because I think that that has to be such a hard and dark time. And I feel for anybody that has to deal with that. I suffer from panic and anxiety and stuff. So I know, I can't imagine putting yourself in the Big Brother house and being under a microscope and literally hundreds of cameras. But I will say, on the flip side of that, I've been around the Big Brother community for a few years now, and it does seem like everyone is so close. I mean, you guys are a family. Yeah. Now, not all families are perfect, certainly, but I think it's really cool, like what you mentioned, that you're all very close too. And I wanted to just ask you about this season. Do you guys think this season will be the same as, like, say how you guys are so close? Are these people who've all played before going to be as close, do you think?
I mean, it's a dysfunctional family. I mean, it's like you like these people, but then at the same time, you're like, get this person away from me. So do I think that this cast is going to be close? I mean, I think that some of the cast is going to be close. Like I've talked about in the past, I think there's a really big difference between pre-jury and jury. So, you've got Keisha and Nicole Anthony who are out, the first two, and versus who's winning at the end. There's so much more time and bonding that happens between all the other castmates who make it further and further and further in the house. So yeah, I think that people still can be friends, of course. But there definitely will be a disconnect between the people that leave early versus the people that leave later in the game, I feel. Do you feel that way, Kaitlyn? Did you feel that way a little bit with our season?
Sure. I think that also it takes a little bit of time. Like, the people, and also the other thing that's really interesting.
And forgiveness.
There's forgiveness that definitely needs to take part, but it's also interesting because the people that you were close with, like Rachel and I were not even aligned in the house, and we didn't really become close until like literally a few days before I left the house.
Yeah.
So,
I thought you were going to say a few days ago.
Last week. So like, no, like, it was weirdly, like, our timing just didn't align in that type of way. I knew I was on the block, so like I was just trying to have fun my last week in the event that it was my last week. And I think that because I was being more myself, Rachel started to become more herself, and we realized, oh my God, we're a nightmare together. So like it just, so I don't think that, like, let's say, I mean, Nicole and Keisha and whoever else is out, like pre-jury, they might not have been close in the house, but they could end up getting closer after. But I will say, as far as genuine connections are concerned in that house already, I think we see a lifelong friendship between, as of right now, between Davon and Bailey. I know that is a friendship that didn't really exist before, but I'm sure they're going to be lifelong friends. That's really the only like tight connection that I see that's a new connection. But yeah, I mean, it's all possible, but it's just funny because like some of these people might end up being closer outside of the game than it.
Yeah. And also something to note too is that these are returnees. These are people who've played this game. These are people who have children, lives, husbands, wives. So they have their, they've got their families that they're going back to. They've got a lot that they're going back to versus the majority of the people that do come on the show or normally single or live, maybe alone or, these people aren't going to be as like, oh, let's be best friends. I feel like as like new people who are trying to gain followers and stay relevant and be around each other after the season because they're like, oh, got to stay relevant, got to do this, got to do that, got to hang out with this person, got to do that, got to take pictures, like all this stuff. So I think that's going to be different for this cast because they're like been there, done that.
Yeah.
That's a very, very good point. I do, Kaitlyn, I do want to go back to Bailey. I want to ask you about, because we've talked to Rachel about this, but do you think that Tyler and Bailey have any loyalty toward each other, or are we seeing? I mean, we did see them form. They are in a bigger alliance. The what is it called? The Slick Six or something?
The Slick Six, another six.
Slick Six, yeah, of course, another six. It's the Slick Six is Danny, Tyler, Bay, Day, Cody, and Enzo.
This is what I think about Tyler and Bailey. I think that if anyone's going to do a shot at one of them first, it's going to be Bailey to Cody and Bailey to Tyler. I think Tyler understands that he was extremely disrespectful to Bailey last season. I think with the given climate, I don't think they're on good terms. I don't think that Tyler would ever cross her again, ever.
Yeah.
Bailey would, because she doesn't want to look stupid. So that's my take on it. I will say that if anyone's going to make the shot, it's going to be Bailey. It's not going to be Ty. There's no way we are going to see it. And Rachel, what do you think? Like, we're not going to.
No, I agree with you. I think that that's definitely, and especially given the climate we're in, I don't think that Tyler is going to go down that road. And if he does go down that road, he's going to get somebody else to go down that road. It's not going to be him.
He knows that. He knows he's not stupid. Like, he's just not dumb. And like, do I think that? I think he recognizes it too. I think he realizes I'm not going to be able to make a move to her. Is it possible that she makes one on me for like revenge reasons? Sure, but he can't do anything.
Yeah. I want to quickly just shout out the chat room. Sorry. I want to shout out everybody that's watching. Yeah. Thank you, everybody that's continuing on here with us and watching. And if you do comment in our little comment section, our chat session, I will post them up here. So drop your comments and your questions and anything below. Okay.
Yeah. And please engage us. I actually, the big brother ant, which is literally a photo of an ant. They are saying, I think he would nominate Bailey, but not yet, way too soon. I just wanted to ask you guys, is there any chance that we see Bailey on the block this week?
No.
Not a shot in the literal hell.
Okay.
No
I like
way.
that. That's good.
And if she is, no. Like Tyler will be so canceled for so many different reasons. Like he can't.
I don't think he's gonna go down that road.
With all these alliances forming, like the Slick Six, like do you ever see the Slick Six, which again is Danny, Tyler, Bay, Day, Cody, and Enzo? Is there any chance that alliance outweighs the usual suspects, which is everyone in that alliance? Well, it's minus Bay, Day, and Enzo. So it'd be Tyler, Danny, Cody, Franzel, Christmas, and Memphis. Do you guys ever see the Slick Six outweighing the usual suspects in terms of loyalty?
No. I think this is, and I saw this on Twitter, I think this is kind of a fake alliance to appease Day and Bay, because they are this close to turning on Day, especially. So, because I mean, even Cody and Danny were talking about how if they got HOH, they're nominating Kaser and Janelle, and Davon would be their replacement nominee if one of them won veto. So I think it's a cover.
Yeah. That's a good call. Okay, so I want to go back to Christian Hernandez, who says, can we talk about the Enzo vote? Why did he do that? Why do you guys think he did that? Mark, why don't you start?
I have no idea. Just to shake things up, really.
Great, I'm glad.
I think they wanted to contribute.
I think they wanted to pin it on Janelle and Kaser. I think they wanted to be like, look, Janelle and Kaser, they're out on an island by themselves. Look, they voted. Look, I was for sure they were going to put it on Bailey or Davon or Kaser and Janelle, but maybe they got word that Janelle and Kaser weren't going to vote for Nicole. They were going to go with everybody else, and vote with the house. And I think maybe Enzo and them knew that Kevin would in no way not vote against her. So I just think he was just trying to stir up, and it just happened to be two. And it's like, oh, well, what duo can we pin this on? So
I have a theory.
Okay.
What's your theory?
So I think for those of you that have seen Celebrity Big Brother, I think Enzo just pulled a Meta World piece, and I think he accidentally voted to evict. Like I
Pulled a Meta World piece.
I think he literally pulls a Meta World piece. When Meta World piece goes, I vote to evict Chuck, when that was his best friend in the house. I genuinely I mean, do I really think this happened? No, but I would die of laughter if that was actually what happened.
That would be amazing. Let's start that rumor.
Imagine if he and also imagine if he doesn't realize that he said it too, and he's going to everyone being like, yeah, I obviously voted out Nicole, duh. And then he goes to the diary room and they're like, so you voted out David? And they're like, and he's like, what? No, I didn't.
He's like, what?
I want that so bad, but only in my dreams, I guess.
In your dreams. I mean, maybe not. Do you think that there's a chance that he would backdoor Memphis? That's another question from Lori TXX or TX.
100%.
It depends on what the alliance wants. Yeah, he's not going to just go rogue and do it by himself. He saw what happened when I was his scapegoat to let that occur.
I just spit.
Wait, what did you say, Kaitlyn?
I'm just saying, he saw firsthand when he convinced me to vote out someone in my alliance how shittily that went for me. So I think he's probably not going to vote out Memphis unless the whole entire alliance agrees upon that as well.
Yeah, he's either going to do a safe Kevin nom or he'll backdoor Memphis. But I mean, it's going to see, does he have the gonads, as he's been portraying in the diary room, saying that he is coming from Memphis. I mean, he was hyped up this week about Memphis. So let's see if
he was pissed about Memphis.
Yeah. So let's see if he is, gonna make a really big move this early in the game. I mean,
I'll respect that. If he does that, I think I can put him on my level of people to respect.
You guys, I think that Memphis is way more dangerous than a lot of people are thinking, because he just won 2 competitions back to back. Yeah, he kind of acts like he's, hot shit. Pardon my French. But I mean,
I think Memphis.
I really think that he is more dangerous than we are led to believe. Because I think that there are other targets in his alliance, but he is very nicely put into that alliance right in the middle. No one thinks he's the biggest threat, but I kind of think he is. And I don't know why, but that's just my inkling.
Because he could slide under, I think. I think
so too. I think that people just they're totally taking him for granted, and they're like, he's like a loose cannon. He's like a, not a loose cannon necessarily, but he's almost like a Josh Martinez, not totally, but somebody who can just kind of be around and.
Well, you think he's going to make it really far then, Bryce?
I mean, I think unless there's a big move, because listen, he played in the middle this week. We saw that with his HOH. I actually thought that it was brilliant, even though I said last week on our show he should try to make everybody safe. I actually thought it was very smart for him to make people not feel safe and use that safety suite all over the place. He got. First of all, Cody, why did you use it? You're his number 1 ally. And Davon and Bailey both used it. That made me so mad. Why couldn't one of them just use it? And the other one could say they were going to save each other anyway. Yeah, well, they were trying to up their odds, I think. Right. And that's fair as well. But I just think that he is a little bit, he's more calculated than we think he is. Especially with Janelle and Kaser, because he's obviously in an alliance with all these newbies, but he's still playing to them and acting like, I mean, he didn't backdoor any of them. Again, it's too early, but he still is not, he's not drawing a line in the sand, as they love to say in all their idioms last night. Mark, what were you going to say? Sorry, I cut you off.
No, I think they're kind of taking Memphis for granted. They're hiding behind him right now. They're letting him stir the pot because he's playing the middle, like you said. But I think they're getting complacent with that because they're letting him take the heat. So I think they might try and carry that forward and be like, okay, well, Janelle and Kaser are bigger threats. Let's take them out, and then we'll worry about Memphis. And then they'll just keep kicking the Memphis can down the road, and then eventually it's final 2, and someone's sitting next to Memphis.
Yeah. Well, let's talk. Oh, go ahead.
About Nicole Franzel.
Go ahead.
I just have a word. Thank you. Here's the thing. I actually like her in real life. I do. I have no problem with her. I've never had a problem with her in my life. I feel very annoyed by her playing the game. I'm feeling I'm feeling just a lot of whiny energy coming out of her pores. And I'm confused by it. Does anyone have any comments?
I'm definitely picking up on the big wine energy these last few DRs this episode.
I don't know Nicole personally. Have you met Nicole, Kaitlyn?
No, but we've spoken before.
Yeah, I've actually never spoken with her before, so I don't really know her personally. But I will say I see a big difference from the Nicole I watched. What was her first season? Was it season 16?
16, yeah.
Yeah, so I see a big difference in the Nicole from season 16 and season 18. I see a very worn down Nicole. I feel like I'm seeing a Nicole that feels she's still playing, but I feel like just like defeated. Like she wants to go home in a sense. Like she's just like, I don't know. I get this overwhelming like tiredness and overwhelmingness with her, and like you said, a bit of whininess. But that's just. But I feel like she's always kind of been that way though. Like she's always had that a little bit. I feel like in her diary room sessions, at least.
It's bothering me.
You know what, Rachel? I think you are onto something though, because I think why people loved her in 16 is because she was from this tiny little town in Michigan or Michigan, I think, Minnesota, and she was like, her eyes were like had stars in them all the time because she was like, I'm on this show and it's my favorite show ever and blah, 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 blah. So then when she came back in 18, she was like, all right, I got to get serious if I want to like win this game because it didn't work out for me last time. So she changed her strategy. The thing that people, you know, it's mean, but it's so funny because people like dislike her so much that it like I look on Twitter and I just like have to laugh to myself because it's like, I hate Nicole, and it's like I just laugh because I'm like it doesn't seem to be any basis, but I mean there is, I guess, but yeah, I think she is a very good player, and I think that a lot of people don't give her the credit. Like I've said last week, I don't think that people give her the credit only because I don't think, like Kaitlyn said before, like maybe there are good Big Brother players, but the Big Brother players that win are very rarely the ones that are most beloved. Yeah. You know, they're the ones that are the most cutthroat, ruthless. That's what's fun to watch. And Nicole, she is very intuitive, I think. You know, just like Janelle, just like these other people that are very, I think that she learned that very quickly in her first season. And so to me, yes, the whining and stuff gets on my nerves, but I do think she's very intuitive, and that kind of, for me, outweighs her other, you know, maybe idiosyncrasies, as I will say nicely.
Honestly, I think the big thing, it just like bothered me very early on when so quickly she didn't even think to consider an all-female alliance. She immediately was like, yeah, you started guys with Dakota, you started guys when I'll tell you everything. I don't know. It just didn't sit well with me as the feminist that I am.
Yeah, but okay. I also said this last week, not to keep repeating myself, but I said, what if a guy did that? What if Cody had said it the opposite way? You wouldn't have said that. You wouldn't have been like, oh, would you have said the same thing if Cody had been like,
you mean,
hey,
to Nicole saying like all start
so saying he was like all start an all guys alliance and you start an all girls alliance.
Oh,
I feel like it's
so you know, I like Cody as a person. There's no one that I dislike more in this game right now than Cody. My boyfriend loves him, and I'm like, no. Like this isn't sitting well with me. But also, let's say Cody was the one that said that to Nicole. Nicole could have easily been like in the diary room, like, I'm obviously not going to do that, but like that's not her. She's not a girl's girl, and I think
okay, fair, totally fair.
Again, that doesn't mean that she's playing the game, and I guess in her defense, she knows that maybe all girls alliances never work, so she's going to do what she needs to do anyway. Great, then maybe she's a great player. I think I'm making this personal, and I don't want to, so never mind.
Well, that's fine.
I love you, Kaitlyn. You're so honest.
I do want to. I want to get to the Janelle and Nicole thing in a little bit, but before we do that, so Janelle, I want to go back to Nicole Anthony, and I want to know your guys' thoughts. We're all, I think, on the same page about rooting for Janelle and Kaysar. I mean, I think they're the underdogs. I love them, and I think we all collectively do too. But I want to know, I mean, they worked so hard to whip these votes for Nicole A. And Nicole there were days upon days of her talking about how she wanted to have a house meeting to out them. So I want to know why you guys think she did this, and or why Janelle and Kaysar were pushing so hard for her to be there.
Yeah. The reason why Nicole Anthony did this was because she thought, Janelle and Kaysar said, you're good. Memphis isn't going to put you on the block. Like, you're good. And then when Memphis put her on the block, instead of blaming Memphis, she goes and she blames the only really true two allies that she has in the entire house, and Kevin, so it made no sense. I mean, and then in her eviction interview, she did say, I was persuaded by the rest of the house. Because every time she went to somebody on the other side with information about Janelle, everybody was like, oh God, yes, you're right. You're right. She's this, she's that, she's this, she's that. And I think these people actually believe that. I don't think they were really feeding into her. I think they actually believe that, because we didn't see any diary rooms about them going, oh yeah, I was doing that just to feed it to Nicole Anthony. No, they truly believe she's like evil and like doing all these things. And I don't see it. I don't see it. So, I mean, I just wish Nicole had the confidence and just that inner grit in her to really stand for Janelle and Kaysar, and to be like, no, I know these two people are with me. I know that. Now, had she used it to her advantage to stage a big fight with Janelle and Kaysar and be like, I'm sick of you two. You stop, Kim. I don't want to work with you. Like, if she staged it in that way to make it this big blow up in front of the house, I think that would have worked to her advantage. And then go behind the doors and be like, Janelle and Kaysar, we just did this, but we're actually going to work together. Now, had she done that, then I would have been like, pat on the back, but she wasn't. So I wish she had done that.
Yeah, I like that.
That would have been, that would have been really cool.
That's really good. Okay, so now let's move on to a segment I'm calling Outside the Show, where we expand on things that fans are talking about on the live feeds or stuff that didn't get enough attention on the broadcast show. So I want to talk to you, the girls, specifically about, and Mark, I guess. Mark, you can jump in.
Okay.
I mean, I don't know how much you want to talk about this subject, but I want to talk about Janelle C. If you aren't familiar, according to fans, Janelle C is the other house guest's obsession with Janelle. This popular theory states that Janelle, quote, lives rent-free in everybody's minds, which is hilarious, especially because she's a realtor. These house guests include Franzel, Danny, and basically everyone in their alliance. So what do you guys make of Janelle C?
I think it's true and epic.
Yeah.
Do you really think it's true?
Yeah.
I mean, there's always that one person in the house. Janelle is a very, very strong woman. And from what I've seen, I saw Andy Herron tweet about it. I've seen, she doesn't give a lot of information, which is apparently why people are so bent up about her, because she just listens and she doesn't give. And so that's what really got people angry in the first, I guess, couple of days, maybe. It seems like her and Nicole Franzel's beef is outside of the game. She even stated she thinks Rachel Riley got to her. So I don't know about that, but yeah, we're hearing
Janelle or Nicole or Franzel.
Franzel said that on the live feeds.
Oh, okay. That
she thought Rachel had gotten to Janelle, and that's why Janelle is acting this way towards her in the house.
Got it.
But
got it.
Who
I just
knows?
To know, like, we from the outside perspective see Janelle as like such a queen icon legend, but like we really don't know what it feels like to be playing the game with her and to maybe be interacting with her. So like, it's true. Like, maybe she does come off a little bit like a bitch or entitled or, I mean, all this stuff, because at the end of the day, this, as much as I love Janelle, I find it very difficult, especially when it comes down to a group of women. If all of these women are having these negative experiences with one other woman, we're not gonna believe all the other women. Like, are we discrediting like how she's making them feel? Like, there's got to be some truth to the way that she's maybe portraying herself that is making them feel a certain type of way. Do I wish that they were a little bit more confident to handle Janelle's type of energy? Sure, but that's just not the case here.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I think, again, like she was saying, I think there's some confidence issues maybe with some of the people in the house. So maybe that's why there's so much jealousy. But again, like she said, we're not playing with Janelle. We don't know what it's like to play with Janelle. We don't know what it's like to be around Janelle. I've never met Janelle personally. I just know from what I've seen on the live feeds that I like her. And what I saw,
she was talking shit about me last night with the puzzle, and I'm like,
who?
Janelle. Apparently, she was talking. And
really?
but what's the craziest part about it, Rachel? You'll appreciate this. And I love Janelle so much, and we've spoken many times. She literally, I have the DMs of her being like, "Hey, I'd really like to get an aura reading." This was like 4 weeks before she left to go to the house. I'm like, you probably thought I was on the show, but that's fine. She was one of the first people that reached out to me when I got off the show, just to say that she loved me and that I should sign up for Cameo because she makes my commission off of Cameo. So I'm like, don't talk shit about me when you're making my commissions,
Yeah.
I did that to BB21 people.
Really?
You did?
Yeah.
I did.
That's great.
I've made
No, Rachel,
they got a hold of me and they were like, if you do this, then you get this. And so I was like, well, I'm doing backyard interviews, so I'm gonna say something when they come up to me. I'll be the first one to get to them.
Rachel, that's really smart. I was like, sure, I don't know what Cameo is. I'll do it. Janelle's making, so I guess Janelle's living rent. How is it gonna work? I'm paying.
We're paying her rent.
Yeah,
living
Cameo.
Janelle is living rent free, being on Cameo.
Being on Cameo
Yeah.
through my commissions. Anyway, I'm like,
there you go. Yeah.
a lot of nerve to be talking shit about my puzzle when far and good that puzzle failing is the reason why people are booking cameos and you're making commission.
Yeah, for sure. Mark, what do you think? What do you think about Janelle? What do you think about Janelle and Case or Janelle as a whole?
I think the jealousy is definitely real. And inside the house, they're really just kind of making everything about her. They're scapegoating her. They're making her the scapegoat, and I think it's convenient. But once she's gone, what are they going to do? What's their excuse going to be for the puppet master? She's the Raven of Big Brother All Star. She's the pulling the strings. She's the puppet master. Everyone's
They'll move on. They'll move on to Kaser, and then Memphis, and then Davon, and then Bailey, and then it'll be or then Ian. I don't know. I mean, those 4 or 5 people are going to be very hard to beat.
Well, tonight Ian was literally a puppet master.
Yeah.
So
Yeah,
I could see it happening.
Oh, yeah, that's right, with the puppet.
Yeah, he had a little puppet, Bryce.
No, yeah, I know.
Yeah.
That's so you guys think so Rachel and Kaitlyn, Mark, you guys all think that Tyler's HOH is just going to be this boring week of predictability and
I don't know.
I hope not.
I think so because
who do you guys want him to nominate? Who should he nominate?
In a perfect world.
Yeah, in a perfect world.
He would nominate Memphis and Nicole Brown.
Oh my gosh.
Rachel in a perfect world. Perfect
He's
world.
not going to, in a perfect world, definitely not Janelle.
Cody and Memphis, not Nicole Franzel, but none of this is happening, guys.
In a perfect world, I would
optimistic.
like him to nominate Cody and Nicole Franzel because I think that they're both working very close with each other and they are 2 people to beat. I mean, they are running the house. So that in a perfect world, but that's not going to happen. So
in a perfect world, excuse me, sorry.
In a perfect world.
What did you say, Kaitlyn?
I don't know why I kept saying in a perfect world.
Yeah. Sorry, guys. I have nothing.
Kaitlyn, what did you say though? We
I said
couldn't hear you.
Worlds, like, are you kidding? It's freaking 2020. Like we don't.
And when I
No,
say
it's
and
not.
when I say that like this is who I want to nominate, it's because this is the fan in me. This is the I want the when I was outside of the house, even though level 6 screwed me over, I mean, I was still rooting for them to a certain extent, but you should have seen when Fessy won HOH, I was screaming, I was jumping up and down. I was so excited because that's the fan in me. I love when the power shifts. It's one of my favorite things in the entire world. So like what would make Twitter, what would make everybody's mind blown?
Rachel,
Nicole Franzel and Cody on the block.
Rachel, remember when you, me, and Winston were in Florida and the HOH competition was on and we were
oh my God,
jumping and screaming, like rooting for
because Haley won. Won.
We were dying. We were like,
yes! We were screaming. It was like we had won the Super Bowl, I think. And then, we saw what happened that season, that week.
Yeah, great
rock star.
Mark, in a perfect world, who does Tyler put up?
Well, one of them definitely has to be Memphis if he, wants to maintain credibility with both sides of the houses. I think he could frame it with Memphis as, like you're going up as a pawn, you're not my target, and then he could turn around to the other side and be like, screw Memphis, let's take him out, let's take our shot now. And for the other, I mean, really, I think maybe Kesar would be a good person to put up because Janelle actually was crying. I don't know how many people saw that or how many people knew about it, but you may get a little bit of sympathy out of that, but I don't know how well that'll carry, but definitely Memphis.
I guess that was the second time that she cried in the 4 seasons she's been on Big Brother.
Wow.
Was for Nicole.
Wait, do you see what's going on right now?
No.
Someone texted me and said Tyler buzzed in before his mug stopped. I know he was already on 12 when he buzzed, but I wonder if Brodner will say that it's 0 because he rang in too early. Feeds were back for a few minutes, but they've been down since, so maybe they're all talking about it.
Whoa. Okay, so then that would default to Ian. Ian would be the HOH then.
Wait, what happened? What happened?
Listen.
I was listening, but I didn't understand.
Okay, so he moved. He did the mug, and when he went to buzz, his mug was still moving.
Okay,
yeah.
Gotcha.
So I think that they're like reconsidering.
Wow.
Who just texted me?
My cousin Steve.
Oh, I just saw something. Can anybody clarify if you are allowed to get?
You mean our cousin Steve, Kaitlyn?
Yeah. He's not on the Herman side. So
okay, never mind that.
Yeah, he's not your cousin.
Oh, okay. So wait, Big Brother Anna's saying Janelle would be.
Yeah, Janelle was in second.
Oh my God.
I'm going
Dude, I would flip.
You guys, did we just manifest Janelle winning HOH?
I hope so.
Oh, if that happens. I mean,
wait, is that just his theory or did he see that somewhere?
No, I guess it's on Twitter right now. People are talking about it.
Okay, wow. I haven't.
Okay, you guys, we'll get back to you on that. We'll have to follow up with this. Kaitlyn, before we go, I want you just tell us, who do you think is going to win it all?
I think that there's a really solid shot between 3 people. Can I say the 3 people? Do I have to give one?
Yes, absolutely. No.
I think there's a really good chance between Tyler, Bailey, and Danny.
Okay. Like it. I like it. So wait, real quick, tell us about your new podcast, spoiler alert, and tell everybody how they can watch it and what's it about.
So spoiler alert is on Wednesday nights right after the episode. So that's about 9:15ish on the East Coast time. And we are exclusively on the TV Co app. And it's called Spoiler Alert. And it's a little different from the typical Big Brother recap podcast because I have on incredible world-renowned psychic medium Karen Reese. And she basically is predicting what's going to happen the following night during the eviction. I'm going to have guests on every so often that and I've had 2 guests on already where she basically ends up reading them or whatever ends up coming up for them during that session. And it's really crazy and it's really fun. She's been right so far 2 weeks in a row. She's like in her 50s. She's from Buffalo, New York. She's never watched the show a day in her life until now. She does not watch the live feed. She doesn't do any of that, but she's super intuitive and it's really fun.
Can I
That
make
is
a suggestion,
amazing.
Kaitlyn? Since it's not a recap and you have a medium, you should call it a precap.
Someone said that the other day, and
I thought it was original. I was all
Mark brought it up.
so
No,
excited.
Mark,
Been texting Bryce all day. Like, I'm so funny.
it's so smart. When someone said that, I was like, oh my God, that's so funny. But yeah, it's really awesome. If I understand that that's not for everybody, which is kind of why I like to do it. Like, I don't need a huge quantity of people watching as long as it's the quality. And if you are interested in spirituality and kind of like that type of vibe and energy, you can tune on in.
Gosh, everybody go check out Spoiler Alert on TV Co. Is that right?
Yep.
And then also you can just follow. Okay, I'll get to that in a second. You guys, final thoughts real quick. Rachel, Mark, what are you guys' final thoughts before we go?
Final thoughts. Let's have a non-predictable week. I mean, I know we probably will, but here's to hoping for a Memphis backdoor this week.
Cheers.
Woo! Mark?
Expect the unexpected. And I'm really interested to hear what happens with this potential controversy with Tyler buzzing into soon. I don't know if they'd overturn it if that went out on the air like that. That'd be a big deal. So expect the unexpected.
They could do it. Expect the unexpected.
I would literally my pants.
Rachel,
I would figuratively.
All of those memes are already going to happen of people being like, Kaitlyn manifested this.
I hope so. Let's do it. Let's put it on this show. This is what happened here. All right, you guys. Well, that's our show. Once again, be sure you subscribe to our YouTube channel, which we're on right now. Make sure to follow the show on Instagram at From Outside the House and on Twitter at Outside BB House. And our personal socials are plastered all over those accounts too. We will see you next Thursday right after the live eviction. A huge thank you to Kaitlyn Herman for being here. Woo!
Thanks for having me.
Be sure to follow her at Kaitlyn_Herman on Instagram and at Kate Coaching on Twitter. And definitely check out her podcast, Quarter Life Crisis, on all podcast platforms and at QLC Girls on Instagram. Thanks, guys, for being here, too. We'll see you all next Thursday from outside the Big Brother house. This has been Outside the House. And remember, if you have the choice to be right or to be kind, always choose kind. Good night.
Good night,
Bye, everybody.
everyone.
Thank you for coming.
Thanks for watching.
See you next week.